This episode is proudly supported by Petrelli Australian cultured butter, batch churned from single origin cream.
Like any good product, you have to start off with an amazing cream. Like for us, it's the raw material that matters. So where we get our cream from matters a lot. So we can't just buy your average supermarket grade cream. So you need real cream. You need basically the stuff they skim off the top of milk at a farm. And to get that product, we have to go to the farmers direct. So for us, we have to source our cream very carefully. We travel a lot to different farms to make sure that the cream we're getting is the real deal from different areas of Australia.
For more information, go to pepisayer.com.au.
You can definitely do it. I just think we were at this point where, is it worth it? Is it worth the freedoms of having your own business and having your own menu? Or should we just get a job in hospitality because it's so high in demand at the moment?
Here at Dirty Linen, we love puzzling over the very many ways there are to run restaurants. And particularly in these interesting times, we've seen a lot of people play with the model. And one way of doing it has been to scale all the way down. There's a lovely little restaurant in Hurstbridge on the outskirts of Melbourne called St. Lawrence. And the owners of that restaurant are a couple who thought they were making a lifestyle choice for themselves to scale right down, basically have no staff and run a tiny restaurant in the hills. Has it worked out? We are talking today to owner Emily Petrelli. Emily, welcome to Dirty Linen.
Thank you, Dani. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you on the show. Tell us a little bit about Restaurant St. Lawrence.
Okay, well, Restaurant St. Lawrence is opened in Hurstbridge. I opened it with my husband. We are both chefs. Daniel has been a chef for 10 years now, and I've been a pastry chef for 12 years. We decided to open something where we were raised and really showcase Nillumbik and Hurstbridge and its produce and its lovely wine and just showcase the region itself.
It is a really lovely region. There are so many little farmers, and I love the way that your dishes, they're a little jaunt around the hills and the valleys.
Yes. We got our inspiration just from what's in season. We really wanted it to be a lifestyle choice because chefs don't really have that. And moving forward in hospitality, we really wanted to be involved in hospitality, but not necessarily do the hard yards. We wanted to choose what we wanted to do, be creative, basically have control of everything.
Okay, and so what did you do to look for that control? What was the business model? What were the opening hours? What was the staffing situation? What was the menu structure?
Okay, so our hours started off as 5 days a week. They were very full on because we were running everything ourselves, from the menu, cooking, website, running all the bookwork and all that sort of stuff. So we decided after COVID that we were going to scale it right down to only 3 days. We picked our busiest 3 nights, Thursday to Saturday. And we run a bake shop during the weekend, so a Saturday and Sunday morning, which really worked for us. We still did a lot of hours, but we were able to have a weekend and put thought into the menu, as that takes time. We did that all on our days off. So we're constantly working, but just not in the kitchen.
Okay, and how's that all gone? Has it been sustainable?
Definitely. I mean, we had a little bit of an interruption, COVID. We opened right in the middle of 6 months before. We opened in 2019. So I feel like we never had a good run of it. We were really busy at the start. We had some hiccups during COVID. We ended up changing our business model halfway through COVID, and we did a set menu, a degustation, which you come and enjoy the meal. That was a lot easier because we got to only have 10 people in the room and we knew exactly what was happening because everyone got ordered the same thing. But then we got married. I've had a child since then. Our priorities have shifted a lot. So suddenly we had a 2-month-old coming into the kitchen with us while we prepped, and it made it a little bit more difficult. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I think that it was all worth it. We've experienced a lot.
So, I mean, we're semi-talking about things in the past tense, Emily, and why is that?
We just recently sold.
Right. So tell me about that. Tell me about coming to that decision and how that's been.
It was a very hard decision because obviously St. Lawrence was our first restaurant. We put everything into it. We renovated it and put our vision to life. We really spent a long time creating a vision and creating St. Lawrence. But after COVID and the stresses of everything rising, the cost of living, we thought it was best that we ended it. There was a lot of factors involved, to be honest. Our priorities shifted. Obviously, we do have a child now, so we want to create more family time with her. We cannot give her our full attention, especially when everything's on the back of our mind. So I think that a lot comes with owning a business, not just in hospitality, just having your own business. So we decided that, it would be best to give up the restaurant and focus a little bit more on family time.
I mean, I'm obviously delighted if you've made a decision that is best for you as individuals and as a family. Like, that's great to be able to do that. But I also feel a little bit wistful because I remember chatting to you, and obviously, it was in the thick of the last few years, which has been intense in every single way. But there was this very intentional process that you'd gone through of leaving behind your, many, many hours, high pressure jobs in big restaurant kitchens and creating your own little paradise. And I feel a bit sad that the realities of running a restaurant in amongst having a family just hasn't checked out.
Exactly. We thought we were escaping all the pressures, but I guess new pressures with owning a business come, right?
Totally. But I mean, can you see a way that a person can have a small child and have a successful restaurant? I mean, is it because we have to be able to work this out, right? Do you just think, no, it's just not possible, or do you think there would be other ways of doing it?
It's definitely possible. We made it as small as we possibly could, 3 days a week, only a 30-seater. I still have my days off, and I go in just for service, and I do 1 prep day a week. So I'm not doing too many hours, but there's 2 of us working together, Daniel and myself. We do everything equally. He helps me with Sophia. So it definitely is hard. We both work at it constantly. And I think you just need people coming through the door constantly. It's a lot of emotional stress. You can definitely do it. I just think we were at this point where, is it worth it? Is it worth the freedoms of having your own business and having your own menu, or should we just get a job in hospitality because it's so high in demand at the moment?
Yeah, that's just such a big question, isn't it? Is it worth it? Because I suppose, how do you balance out the need for freedom and creativity, but then also that incredible desire for stability when you've got a kid?
Definitely. So it just didn't weigh up for us in the end. But I do believe you can also have your creative outlet working for someone. People want experienced chefs and they want people to have their own ideas as well.
Yeah, that's really true. And hopefully, I mean, have you guys gone off and found new positions?
Daniel has quite a few things going on coming up. He is executive chef at Naked Satan, and he has something in the works. He's opening up a new restaurant of his own. Should be in the works by end of spring.
Okay, so
in a partnership.
Okay, yeah. Wow, that's amazing. So Naked for Satan is really one of Melbourne's classic rooftop venues in Fitzroy, and the new project sounds exciting too. Was it important for him and for yourself to think about, perhaps if you did do another business, that it was a partnership?
Yes, definitely. Now I can take a little step back. I really want to focus on Sophia and family. I didn't really get a maternity leave. I was back at work within the month of her being born. So I would love to just have some downtime and then get into things at a later date.
And, you mentioned, you just need people coming through the door consistently. Has that been a challenge for you at St. Lawrence?
Definitely. It's a little small town. That's not like the city that everyone's going around and we get a lot of walk-ins. And it's a ripple effect with the cost of living, interest rates going up. People are sort of, where should we cut in our budget, which is a luxury of going out for dinner. It's definitely dropped. I wouldn't say it's forever. I think it will pass. But it was certainly a factor in why we closed, because obviously less people coming in the door and our produce was going up and our wages were going up, everything.
Yeah, it's a bit of a quadruple whammy. I mean, and I suppose you'd already played with the business model, so you weren't going to be thinking of, I don't know, opening for lunch or doing a bit of a la carte, because you'd already sort of, I guess, moved away from that, you'd already thought that one through.
So we started a la carte last year and we do a la carte now. Yeah, we were hoping it would bring more people in the door, which was our original concept. We're wanting to open for lunch. However, we couldn't find any staff to help us out, and with just us two and Brock alone, we couldn't prep and do service for lunch and dinner.
Yeah, right. That's so interesting. I hadn't realised you'd gone to a la carte. So how did that go? I mean, did you find that you were getting people through, and if you were, was it worthwhile? It
was definitely worthwhile. We do have a lot more people in the door than the degustation, but you obviously need to turn the restaurant over maybe 2-3 times a night, and it just isn't happening.
We should put people in the picture of what a special little dining room it is. Can you talk about the building?
Yeah, it's a pretty iconic building in Hurstbridge. It's made out of recycled bricks and burnt beams. So it's a very rustic, dim lighting room. Almost looks like an old barn. And it's I don't even know how to explain it. It's so rustic. It's got slate flooring, and it's made out of the old pub that was across the road in Hurstbridge in the 1980s.
Yeah, it's unique. Like there's nothing else like it. It feels, I mean, I guess Hurstbridge does have a bit of a country village feel, but you definitely feel like it's it's very rural feeling when you're in there. And
it definitely is.
Yeah. And talk about some of the producers that are in the area and how you went about, exploring the produce around you for your menus.
It's a really lovely little area. We didn't know we were so close to wineries. We're 10, 15 minutes away from really lovely wine that only produce 800 bottles or so. And they're the same as us, running with just husband and wife, most of them. So we sort of just did a little Google search on what's around and got recommendations from locals, and we just did tastings and went up to the winemakers and said, hey, can we have a tour of your winery? Can you show me how you make your wine? And they were so lovely and invited us in, and we've been to pretty much all the wineries that we stock. And they make their own wine, whiskey, brandy and gin. So I think once we got a little list, it sort of just fell into place, and we got recommendations from other locals, and people are starting to come to us now. We've been to a few little farms out in the hills that, again, are husband and wife, and they just grow what's in season and just drop what they grow to our door, whatever they've got that week. I remember ringing up a dairy farmer saying, my cream is running late. And they said, oh, sorry, we've actually run out, but the farmers are milking the cows now, so we should get it to you tomorrow. And I was like, okay, how can I get upset when he's out there milking the cow as we speak,
I love that, Emily. What about some of the dishes? Like, can you talk about some of the produce and how you turn that into part of the menu?
I guess it's like everyone else. We have a major collection of cookbooks, and we just flick through them regularly and get inspiration from that, other restaurants on Instagram, and then we just sort of see what our suppliers have on special or what's recommended for that week, and we sort of just talk about it as a team, and we just create dishes. It's really nice to have free thoughts and just trial and error and do things. We are our own bosses, so we just have a think about it, talk about it, trial and error, and if we like it, it goes on the menu.
So what are you loving from the current menu?
It's very comfort food. We do basics. We've got roast duck and preserved cherries from the summertime. We've got a burnt cabbage on the menu as a side that we've done on the coals. Everything is done with maximum love, I should say. Dan's from a very fine dining background, so we do everything fine dining but very rustic.
And I mean, it is a small community there, and I know people travel to come to the restaurant, but the bake shop is a very local affair. Can you tell us about the baked goods and what that's meant to the community?
I think it meant more to the community than we thought. Initially, when lockdown was happening and we didn't know what we should do, we said we should do what we're good at. And I was good at baking cakes, really rustic home style, things like lemon tarts and brownies and lamingtons and just cookies. And every time lockdown was announced, I had rumours, people coming up to me and saying, I heard these people in the town were saying that it's great because it's locked down again and we get your cakes. And sure enough, we would open on the Saturday of lockdown, and there was a line up the road just waiting for cakes and pies, meat pies.
Wow, you definitely softened the blow for people there.
Definitely. We still did it up until I was 38 weeks pregnant.
Wow, Emily, that's great. Well, that's incredible. What's it going to be like, coming into the final weeks for you at St. Lawrence?
I think it's going to be very bittersweet. I don't think we've fully processed it. We've put so much into St. Lawrence. I think it's just going to be, I try not to think about it, and that's how I get through things, but it's probably going to be very emotional, especially saying goodbye to our locals. Our regular customers are so lovely. They give us produce and gifts, a lot of gifts they give us. It's so lovely. We've really become a part of our community.
Yeah. I mean, so do you reckon, should I feel happy for you or sad for me that you're closing the restaurant? Should I feel that, the hospitality model is broken, or that this is just a really positive, intentional lifestyle decision that you guys have made for yourselves?
We're taking it as very positive. I can't wait to close the door. Not that it's been a negative. We've learnt so much, and I don't think Daniel or myself could take positions in hospitality if we didn't open this restaurant. Daniel's going to be executive chef, it's really great because he left to open St. Lawrence as a sous chef. So what we've taken on is just amazing. And just learning about life in general. We wanted to do this when we didn't have a family, so there was no burden on the family. So I think it's just a little tick off the box, something we did, and now we can just move on.
Wow, I love it. I got a shiver when you were saying that. It's just, it's so powerful. I love it. That makes me feel good. Okay, I won't be sad. Emily, are you able to talk about who you've sold the business to?
I guess I could. Yeah, they would probably like me to do that. A couple who are local as well. They are coming from a catering background, and it should be, from what I think, it's a cafe/food store. So I'm thinking some sort of providor.
Oh, that sounds great. And you're going to basically hand over the keys, if they're planning to make many changes or renovate, or can people expect to get in there sort of this winter?
I'm expecting probably a little bit of renovations. I'm not too sure. Everyone likes to put their stamp on things, but I'm sure it's going to be open this winter. Yeah. Yeah,
that's so exciting. Well, all right, you've turned me around from devastated to delighted. So thanks for taking me on that journey, Emily. I wish you all the best with the final weeks. And certainly I hope it is a good feeling when you close that door for the last time and go and hang out with your baby.
Oh, thanks, Dani.
This is Dirty Linen, and I'm Dani Valent. We air the issues that the hospitality industry finds hard to talk about, hearing from different people with unique perspectives. We want to hear from you as well. If you have something that needs to be said about a topic, get in touch so we can include your perspective. Contact us at dirtylinenat.deepintheweeds.com.au or hit us up on Insta at Dirty Linen Podcast. We can't wait to hear from you.
This